dirt road off a 2-lane past a shot up county sign. Squeaking of a backyard screen door letting you know that it's
The Putnam Personalities podcast exists to highlight the good, the positive, and the inspirational in our community. This episode is not an endorsement of any political or religious ideology. This podcast is a simple interview to get to know our friends, neighbors, leaders, and colleagues on a more personal level. Sit back, grab some sweet tea, and enjoy today's interview.
like home to me.
I'm glad to have Mike and Sheila Rodgers with us today, and obviously Sheila's excited about this, but you brought your son with you as well. And how old's your little one?
He'll be 19 months in a week.
Awesome. So he's out there playing a game. So once in a while we might hear a noise or a beep or a cry. Or if we do, it's all right. It's not a big deal. This is a family-friendly podcast. And as I mentioned, most podcasts, it's kind of like sitting at a coffee shop and just having a conversation. Forget the cameras rolling. And basically we're just talking and we're inviting people to hear our conversation.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's it. Pretty simple. Everybody that I've interviewed so far said it was pleasant. It wasn't nothing stressful. So with that being said, you guys own Galactic Nutrition, and that is downtown in Interlochen. So tell us where this idea came from and how long you've been there and all that good stuff.
So Galactic Nutrition has been going on its third year in business. But Sheila and I, we've been doing this for about 4 years now. We started from home. And the reason why we started was 4 years ago, I actually had a stroke at the age of 33. I was close to 260 pounds and just living a very unhealthy lifestyle. And one day I got home from work and I told Sheila that I wasn't feeling well, and I felt this pop in my head and all these things happened. And so she took me to the emergency room and they told me that I had a whole list of things going on. My blood pressure was skyrocketed, my blood sugar was through the roof, and that I needed to make better choices. And so we actually went on a really great weight loss journey, and I had lost over 100 pounds and she had lost 115 pounds. So we used that, our journey, to start our business and offer a healthy alternative to the community. So we do coffee, shakes, and teas. A lot of stuff we do is sugar-free and dairy-free and stuff like that. So that was the big thing for us to start, was because if it worked for us, I know it'd work for a lot of people in the community. And that way, you can stay away from all these sugary beverages and stuff like that. And we do have a lot of things that we do offer. And that was the biggest thing why we started Galactic Nutrition. And we really do enjoy what we do. It's a lot of passion in it. And I never thought I would do anything like this. I've done a lot of everything else in between. And I worked retail, I've got a business degree and all these things. But owning my own business and helping people in the community has been a really big thrill for us. I really enjoyed it so far.
Awesome. Now you guys started out in a different location. Didn't you run on 20 and then you moved?
Yeah, so we started on 20. It was just a temporary establishment just till we found something a little bit larger and more permanent. And then our current location downtown, it offers more space so that we can have more activities and offer more, obviously more the items on our menus. But one of the big things that we do like about this new place is with the lobby, we actually invite people to come and set up tables. We call it a sip and shop. So they come in, they'll set up their tables for local artisans and vendors, and they sell their items. And so we get traffic from them, they get see our traffic. So we kind of have like a little community day. Once every couple months we do something like that.
Really? I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's
awesome.
pretty neat.
Yeah, I went to your first location one time, and I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed because I thought it was like a ice cream shop. When I walked in, I was like, whoa, wait a minute, I have to create a drink. I was so confused. I'm like,
yes, our menus say create your own drink.
So my daughter, and I guess they got something, I left, I was like, here's my card, I'll meet you in the car. I was like, I'm just not comfortable with this yet. And then, but then I realized, I guess I'm older too, and it's kind of like going to Starbucks and spending money on a coffee and giving them this whole list of what you want. I'm just like, I just want a coffee, 2 creams and sugar, I'm good.
Right.
So as an older guy, that's just who I am. It has to be decaf.
2 shots of decaf.
Right.
But
But now it's like this. I had a guy that used to say, I want it, and he would say, I want it this temperature, and it was just like the weirdest thing. I'm like, it's coffee, dude, just drink it. Yeah. So going into like your store at first was a little awkward to me because I wasn't sure because I was older, I think. But I think a lot of the younger generation, the millennials, I'm a little bit past that age, but the millennials and the younger generation, I think a lot of them are used to that. Like there's all these choices. And so now I've gone and I enjoyed it. Now your shakes, I have to ask about your shakes. Are your shakes regular shakes, or they're like a protein style
So
shake?
they are like a protein shake. They are dairy free, and so what's great about them is they are a small and medium are around 24 grams of protein. They're 21 vitamins and nutrients. They're about 200 calories, so they're designed to kind of fill you up but give you all the stuff that you need for a healthy meal.
Gotcha.
And then the large is about 36 grams of protein, 300 calories. So it's still relatively low on the caloric intake, but it's still really good for you. And then the shakes, like I said, we just use ice and water. They're more like a Frosty. They're still thick, and they're very flavorful. So we have, like one of my favorite shakes is called the Fat Elvis. So we base it off of Elvis's favorite sandwich, which is chocolate, peanut butter, and banana.
We just don't fry it in butter.
Yeah, we don't fry it in butter.
That's the only thing. We just don't fry it in
good.
butter.
And then we see how he turned out. So, and then the other one, we have like an almond joy shake, which is chocolate, coconut, and almond. So it's very similar to the shake, or the candy itself. So you can still enjoy having all these things. Because when I tell people I have banana nut bread for breakfast, they look at me like I'm a weirdo. You know, because we have a banana nut bread shake that's it's vanilla, banana, cinnamon, and nuts, and it tastes just like the shake.
But it fills you up,
Yeah.
so it's a healthy full meal replacement. So instead of you eating breakfast and drinking a shake, you replace your breakfast and then your lunch with your shake, and it'll keep you full for the rest of the day. And it
Gotcha.
doesn't really taste like a protein shake. It tastes like
A dessert in a cup.
a dessert in a
Oh,
cup.
but one of our biggest sellers though is banana pudding. So we
Yes.
even layer it with the whipped cream, and it tastes just like banana pudding minus the cookies in a cup.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll have to try a little bit more now that I've heard a little bit more about what you
Great.
do. So I'm not as uncomfortable. So the other day I actually went over there and I did get a drink, and then I brought everybody at home, I brought them a shake. And so at first they were a little surprised because they said, "This isn't a shake." I'm like, "It's a shake," and they said the texture is different, but they all enjoyed it. And so I didn't realize that until I got home that it wasn't just a regular shake. So I'm learning.
Right.
I'm going from 47 down to like 40 now. So I'm learning a little. I'm learning.
That's the new 20. That is the new 20.
Do
There
you guys do boba stuff at all?
We
So,
do.
We do. We have a variety of different things. So, but the popping pearls. So there's 3 types of boba. A lot of people think it's just the one. So tapioca pearls are the ones that are cooked in brown sugar.
Those ones I don't really like too much.
So those
Those are the
ones,
chewy
those are the
ones.
ones you'll find in like
Yeah.
milk teas and like
Right.
boba tea shops and stuff like that. And at Galactic we have what are called the popping pearls. So they're full
Yes.
of like different juices and flavors. And then we also have what's called the jellies. So with the jelly bobas, our biggest ones that are the biggest sellers that we use are a coconut-based jelly. So they're coconut. It is real coconut fruit with infused with like strawberries or passion fruit. So they're little slices as they go up the straw, so you actually chew them up. So they're jellies. So
But they're not the same they're not the same consistency as the tapioca ones. The
Yeah.
tapioca
Okay.
ones are really chewy.
Yeah, those ones I don't care for. The first time I won't plug them, but I went to racetrack a long time ago and they had an ice cream, and I put the little bubble, the little
Yes.
poppin', whatever they're called, you said, and man, the first time I bit one of that, I was like, oh my goodness, this is way crazy. It was so good.
I had someone tell me that they expensive kids are like little gushers, you know. And so
Well, when we first, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I remember one of the stories when we first opened. One of our kids came, and their parents came, and the parent wasn't knowledgeable in what boba was. And so the first thing that the child did was, "Oh, look, Dad, it's Orbeez." And I'm like, "Please do not eat these Orbeez.
Yeah.
You cannot eat these. You can eat these, but you can't eat
Yeah, these are
Orbeez. So these are
Orbeez,
not Orbeez."
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. What are Orbeez?
So,
Just don't.
so Orbeez are these little. They market them for the kids, but they're once you put them in water, they swell up.
Oh,
and so
okay.
they do different activities and stuff.
Oh.
And they're clear and see-through.
They have different colors.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we tell the kids, don't eat the Orbeez because it's
Right.
very bad for them.
Oh,
But the
okay.
boba, they look very similar.
Because
Yeah.
they're round popping
Right,
ones,
right,
and
right.
whenever
Yeah.
you squish them, they'll pop
Yeah.
because they have fluid, they have juice
So
in
when
them.
the kids would say, they're like Orbeez,
They're-
like
please
yeah,
don't.
they look similar, but please.
Right,
don't.
this is boba. You can eat
Yeah,
boba. don't eat
disclaimer:
Orbeez.
do not eat Orbeez.
Yeah, but I thought it was so cute because after 2.5 years, because we'll be in business for almost 3, he still comes back and he goes, "I know they're not Orbeez, they're boba. They're not Orbeez, they're boba."
That's
It's
cool.
really cute. 'cause we
Repeat
have-
customers, that's good.
Well, yeah.
And a young one, that's good.
Yeah,
For
we have
business
many,
for what,
many
almost
more
3
years.
years?
Yeah, we have a big
lot of customers that have
following.
followed
Yeah,
us.
and
Good.
like last year we got voted for, or we actually won the best small business of Interlock, and so we thought that was really good because we do a lot with the community and we try to give back. In our first small business, we do what we can. And, even the policy
He's
side.
excited. He's
Yeah.
excited about helping the community. Look at that.
There you go.
So with Sheila and I, we first started, it was just us two working. And now we have a couple of people that work with us, so that way we can expand more and get back out into the community. We really do try staying involved with a lot of different things. And so it really is a great opportunity for us, especially like with the menu that we do have. We do coffee, shakes, teas. We even do fresh lemonades now.
Okay.
It's a really big seller. I can drink lemonade all day, every day, and it's really neat. So we have a lot of different fruit flavored lemonades that has real fruit in it, or then you can even add them to the other drinks. So we have a lot of different options for people who want something instead of just a shake or a coffee
Right.
or what have you. So I think it's a
That's
really
good.
good opportunity for us to, like I say, expand and offer more. But there really is nothing like this in Interlochen on this side of town.
Well, that was the other thing. When I first went, when you were at the other place, I said, I don't think this place is going to survive around here. It's like, again, it's not like, because when you think of Interlochen,
we hear it.
when
We've
people are
heard
talking about
it.
bringing restaurants and stuff, I'm thinking you got to have something that's not, expensive. You can't have an Olive Garden in the middle of, it's not going to work.
But if it did, I would be there every day.
Oh yeah, we'd be the
Look at this breadsticks.
yeah, the breadsticks. But the thing is, like, you would think, the Taco Bell will do well, but something that's expensive really won't work. But anyway, with that being said, but obviously you proved me wrong, and that's good, and I'm glad. I've seen a lot of teachers go that way. A lot of people go. Oh, every time I drive by, I see people there. One thing that I enjoy and I'm thankful for y'all doing is, let me back up. I like to work with the football team, and for the last 11 years, I helped the church in Interlochen. We feed the football team every Friday, and so I got to be a chaplain with the team. And so through that, the cheerleaders come as well, and we feed the cheerleaders and the football team every Friday. And so I noticed that you guys have donated a lot of drinks and stuff to the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
You've done a lot with the baseball team as well.
Yeah.
I think you even did the teachers one time last year.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we do that as a church. We provided, like, for the whole month of November and December last year, we provided K-Cups and creamers, and I would go to
That's
Walmart and buy all the Grinch creamer and all these famous creamers and try to get them there, but to see somebody else doing something like that too is awesome. I enjoyed to see that. So thank you for investing in our community.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the reasons I want to have you on, because
Right.
this is about the positive and the good in our community. And Interlochen gets a bad rap a lot of times. So, he dropped it again. I don't know if he's dropping on purpose
He is.
to get attention.
He is.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he's really cool. He's a really funny character, and he does like attention. But Apollo's a really good baby.
Is it Apollo?
Apollo Atlas.
Okay, really?
Yeah. So we really like space science and NASA.
Okay.
And we also like Greek and Roman mythology.
I was going to ask about the name, so
Yeah, so
okay.
galactic nutrition, it just kind of fit the vibe. And so when we found out we were pregnant, it took us maybe 5 minutes altogether just to kind of decide on his name once we found out we were having a boy. Because, we'll start over. So it actually took us, it took 14 years to have him. Because Sheila has endometriosis and PCOS, so we had several miscarriages before, and a lot of things that we tried different options to get pregnant, and those things didn't work. It wasn't until we got healthy and we got I battled with drug addiction and alcoholism for 14 years, and with that I never really thought I would do anything with my life, and it wasn't until I met Sheila. And she was the beacon of light in my sea of darkness. She helped me find my way home and helped me rediscover who I am inside. And after I had the stroke a few years ago, and I made the right choice to quit drinking and everything else. Matter of fact, August 1st will be my 4-year sobriety date.
Awesome.
But in those 4 years, I had lost the weight. We got healthy. We started a business. We got married. We started a family. And I tell people we're evolving our who we are and what we're doing with business, life, and family, and everything. But we were told we would never have kids. It just got to the point that they said that you have less than 0.3% chance to conceive. And so we got healthy, we got sober, we started business, and we just accepted the fact that it would just be us. And it was just one of those things that we went on summer vacation, we took a vacation, and she was upset because her swimming suit stuff wasn't fitting her. I'm like, oh, this is. So, it's a little odd, it's not, nothing too crazy. And we got home, and as we got home, there was this beautiful double rainbow over the street, over the house. It was incredible. I took a picture of it and everything. And then, so the next morning, she was like, something just doesn't feel right. So she took a pregnancy test, and sure enough, we found out we were pregnant. So it was one of those things that, like, everything just happened for the right reasons. And we always say God has a sense of humor because she got summer body ready. And
I lost 125 pounds, and I was down to 145. And God was like, "You look great. Here's a baby." You weren't thinking and expecting it. Here's the baby, and I'm like, "All right, perfect." After 14 years, I finally had a baby.
So when I do when I show your names and stuff, and I'll put episode number, and then I'll put on there Mike and Sheila, and Apollos. Because he's part of the podcast today too. So, and whenever he's watching, I'll put Bluey, or I don't know what he's watching, but anyway, I'll put them on there too. But anyway, I don't know if the camera will pick up. If it does, we'll figure it out.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
Will.
Normally I have the little mic. I started using the microphones, but the microphones only have 2 of them, and so we have 3 on here. It would. But yeah, if I would have had that, it's my fault. I
Next
should
time you
have.
just do you.
It's no big deal. It's all right. No, we're glad you're on here. So, you mentioned battling drug addiction, things like that. So, are y'all from here originally? No, you are.
I'm from here. I was raised here. I've been here I'll be 35 in August, so I've been here for 30 years.
Okay.
Not born, but I've been raised here, so it's pretty much home. And it's in Interlochen. We've never been anywhere else in Florida.
So, did you go to school at Interlochen High?
I sure did. Interlochen Elementary, C.H. Price, when it was C.H. Price
Yeah.
was my middle school, and I graduated in the high school in 07.
Oh, okay.
I've been here for a while,
Oh, wow.
for a long time.
Awesome.
This is home.
Okay. And where are you from?
I grew up in Lake City.
Okay.
I was born in Homestead, but we moved to Lake City because my dad was an A&P mechanic, so he worked on airplanes, and he transferred them out that way. And so they fell in love with the town, and they decided to move and just settle down out that way. So I grew up over there, went to Columbia High School and graduated in 2005. And I honestly would have never found Interlochen had my mom she loves taking back roads to places. And we were coming through Gainesville one day to go to the beach. And Interlochen was 2 lanes at one time. And I remember before they had just opened Friar's Chicken, or they had built a new Friar's Chicken. So we had stopped and got chicken from there, and then we went about our business. And my mom just fell in love with the town that had 1 stoplight, and now we have 2.5 stoplights.
Now we have 2 in the flashing.
Yeah. So 2.5 stoplights. But I remember she found it, because my mom does hair, so she had a hair salon in Lake City.
Okay.
And so she decided she just got tired of the busy life over there, because at that point we were already graduating high school, and she had started a new life with her new husband. And my little sister was born, so about a year old. So she found a small little salon and started working here part-time. Also had a clientele over there, and eventually she just moved here full-time permanently. And I would come and visit. And I just kind of fell in love with the fact that it was still just a small town, and there wasn't a lot going on. And the work I was doing, I was traveling all through Florida, and it was in Miami, Tampa, Plant City, all these big towns, and I really got tired of that big city living. Plus everything going on, it was always, for me, I was finding the right towns for the wrong crowds.
Right.
And I never really wanted to settle down and either do anything like that. And so as I continued to work and still rip and run the street, do all these things that, obviously it's the past life. And like I said, fell in with the wrong crowds and doing a lot of dumb things. And it wasn't until I got out to Interlochen and I realized that this is just kind of something that I really do enjoy. And it's a slow pace for me. Now obviously with the 4-lane, it has picked up a little bit more. But I really do enjoy this rural, small town living, and I never thought I would settle here, and here I am putting down roots in business, and we only owe, I think, another 1.5 years left on the house. So there's a lot of things that's happened for us, and I really do enjoy this.
So interesting. And this is supposed to be positive, so this is kind of a little bit negative, but Interlochen is known for its vices. A lot of people are on drugs and alcohol abuse here. There's a lot of that, but for you to come on here and say that you came here, you were involved with those things, but now you're out of it and you're living a productive life, that's a big deal.
Yeah, and that's
awesome.
Especially here in Weston.
Yeah, Weston Putnam gets a lot of really bad for obviously drug use and everything like that. And I never let my past define who I am today. I use it as a stepping stone to better myself, for my family, and my business and stuff. That's why I like sharing my story, because if I can help the next person, then I get goosebumps, because you just never know what they're going through. Anybody can come in with a smile on their face, and but be hurt on the inside. And so we treat everybody with respect. I always say when you come to Galactic, it's a safe place. We don't judge anybody here, because I've been through it. We've all been through it, and we're just 100% who we are. As you see me at Galactic, you'll see me at Walmart or Little Champs or the Handyway or whatever they call it. So I told somebody who was at Pick and Save the other day, and they looked at me like, Pick and Save? I meant Save a Lot, because it was just.
I'm gonna get my prescription for Eckerd's. I'll be right back.
So when I did come to Interlochen years ago, obviously I knew about how bad the drugs were and everything like that. And then I didn't let it interfere with my lifestyle at the time. I mean, I was still drinking, because you can get that at any store. But it got to the point during the pandemic, Sheila and I had both were laid off from our jobs. And so that year, 2020, my drinking got out of control because I was home and it became like an everyday thing. And then it just got really bad. It really got out of control. Although at that time, I picked up a job flooring and stuff. So I was still making ends meet and doing these things, but I just couldn't stop anymore. And that's the problem, was that it just, after a while, it consumed me. And it created a lot of rifts and issues with our relationship because I just couldn't stop. And then I had a stroke. And at that point, Sheila already had my bags packed. I have to tell anybody because it's the truth. Because she wanted me to get my act together because she couldn't watch me kill myself that way. That's what was happening. The doctor told me my liver was already swollen. I was developing cirrhosis of the liver. My diabetes was eating me alive. I had already developed neuropathy in my left foot. I still had paralysis in my hand and my face from all that. And they said I would, if I didn't change my lifestyle, I would be dead by the time I was 37. I just turned 37 back in March. My liver enzymes are perfect. My cholesterol is great. I reversed my diabetes. Good. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. My A1C was 11.9, and now it's 4.7. So my body self-regulates its glucose. I'm no longer on all the medications. I can say that I'm the 1% who actually turned around. And I tell anybody, you can do it. That's why we do Galactic Nutrition. That's why we offer these alternatives. Because like I said, if it works for me, it'll work for a lot of people. You can still have fun and enjoy these things without having all the extra stuff in it. Right. And being part of this side of Interlochen and Putnam, I see a lot of the people going through those same things. And I always say, if you need anybody to talk to, come by Galactic. And even if you can't afford the drink, my door's open for you. I never turn away anybody. That's the thing, even at 5 o'clock when we close, if I see somebody come in, I don't turn anybody away because we're still there. I'm still available for anything. I have a lot of people that come and talk to us just because we're good conversations. And I think it's just because we're not fake. And you okay, bub? He goes, sometimes, he's so silly because sometimes I go, what are you doing? Look at him. Yeah, he's so silly. So it's great because I do reach out to people who want someone to talk to, who are going through these struggles. And, I joined the Rotary Club because I wanted to reach out to more and be involved with the community. And recently I just joined the board of directors for the volunteer fire department. And Sheila and I are actually on the student advisory council for the elementary and the high school. So we'll
continue that.
And as we're people of the community and business owners, we're able to see where the money goes, and you get a vote on certain things and help them with it. I think it's a great opportunity for anybody to join because a lot of these people, parents and stuff like that, they can be a part of this and see the behind the scenes and how those things work because they're given a certain funding, and what they do with it and how it goes, it's based on the people, and so I think that's, for us, it's seeing how it works, where it's going, and being a part of the whole is what makes us feel like we're doing a lot more.
Yeah, because we're business. We're a small business. I mean, we're smaller than small business because we're mom and dad owned, you know what I mean? But we still give a lot, and we want to know, we're not just giving, but we want to know where that's going to,
Right.
Where is it going
It was like this morning, y'all were just a few minutes late, which is not a big deal.
Yes, we were doing deliveries.
But you were doing deliveries out in Palaca, you said. So obviously you're a small
Palaca,
business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good.
We will go all over the place. As long as it's 2 drinks, we will drive. So we have people, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are our biggest days for delivery. So we'll go out from Hawthorne, West End, all the way down to East Palaca, only because we don't go further than that for security purposes.
Right.
And we don't do residents, but we do businesses. And we'll have people just call us up and meet. Can you meet me here in Publix? Absolutely, I can.
Right.
So it does go all over the place. But for the aspect of for the schools and being on their student advisory council, I like that. We enjoy that because not only do we give our donations from the community, but we know where our money goes to in the school system. So it's really nice. We enjoy it. And this will be our second year. No, our third year. This is our third year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good.
No.
So Mike took a phone call, but he'll be back in a second. That's okay. Oh, it's okay. It's part of. I have a small business as well. I sell air conditioning parts on the side. So I know it is. We were at my daughter's wedding a few weeks ago in Las Vegas, and I finally got a few minutes to go sitting in the pool. I'm sitting in the pool, also my phone rings. I'm like, hello, and they're like, I need a motor. I'm like, I'm in Las Vegas.
I don't have my computer on me. Hold on.
I worked out details they can pick it up, but I was still like, So I understand. I totally get it. Sometimes you're in the middle of 2 different things, but
sometimes.
no problem.
Yes.
But so you went to Interlochen High School. Did you play any sports? Or
I did not.
Nothing? You didn't get
No.
involved?
I was not a sporty kind of person. I was more like I was a social butterfly, but I was also a fly on the wall.
Okay.
I was a wallflower and a social butterfly at the same time. Invited to parties, never went.
Gotcha.
Except for with anxiety.
Gotcha. I was going to ask Mike, I'll ask him when he gets back. So you have some tattoos, he has some tattoos. Is there any of them that are specific, like meaningful that?
Yes, these are definitely meaningful. Because I'm Puerto Rican,
Okay.
so I have my ancestors' roots are the Taino tribes.
Okay.
So these are Taino drawings that the Tainos have, and they're the
Okay.
Indians. So this one is the coqui frog, which is our country's frog.
Okay.
The coqui, we have the sun,
Okay.
which is obviously our almighty, and then the two birds, which is the eternal lovers.
Okay.
That's what we have. And then of course here, don't mind my bruise, but I have James's tattoo with a lotus and a moon on it. This one I think means the absolute most to me at the moment and will be forever, because I suffer with anxiety and depression. And I don't go to psychiatrists anymore because I almost overdose on my medication because I suffer with depression and suicide. So I started getting the help. Now I'm a lot better. Now I could talk about it, help people along with it. But this was one of the darkest times that I had whenever Mike and I were together. And he talked me down from a suicide attempt. And I told him, I said, you know what, I want to remember this forever. And this was just, ever since then, I haven't had another
So what does
attempt.
James mean, or who's James?
This is James.
My first name.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for like.
Everybody
The
gets so
review.
confused. They're like, who is the James?
No, it's okay.
Who is
I was
James?
like, it's okay. But I was wondering who was
It's
James.
him.
Yeah.
Mike's,
Okay.
My
Mike's
name is
first name
James
is
Michael.
James.
So
Okay.
Yes.
I go by Mike because my father. So my father's James Kevin. My grandfather was James Perry. So I'm the fifth James Rodgers. But we broke the generation tradition because I don't feel like we have the one opportunity to give my son a name that means it's a powerful name.
Right.
And there's so many James Rodgers as it is. I don't think it's fair to him to have the same name that everybody else has. And so we chose Apollo Atlas because Apollo was the sun god. He was the god of light creation in the Greek mythology. And then Atlas was the titan that held the world on his shoulder. For us, he was our light. He was our little world. So the name really fits. Plus, in NASA, Apollo was the mission to the moon, and Atlas was the rocket that takes all the satellites up. And that's the one that went and seen Pluto.
My favorite planet.
So it's a lot of meaning to what we do, who we are, and obviously Apollo, because he was our miracle. We never thought we'd have a baby.
Right.
And so the fact that we were given a gift, and now we have.
So I was supposed to ask a question. Has there ever been something you could define as an answer to prayer or a miracle? And we got that covered already, so that was good. Yeah, I told you a couple questions I might ask, and so
Yes.
so there he is right there. That's really neat. Now you mentioned past episode talked to Buddy Goddard. Do you know Buddy worked at NASA for a while? Did he ever tell you that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, because it's cool because in the Rotary meetings he'll have his cup and it's got the NASA stuff
Okay.
on it. So it's pretty neat that.
I was just wondering if he might brought up NASA. I've heard that a lot lately, so I was like, what? So I asked her this. I noticed you have some tattoos, and sometimes people have them for specific reasons. Are there any ones that are very meaningful to you? Something that has a story?
So this one, it's here. It says, "To thine own self be true," and then because the reason why I got it was years ago when I was in a rehab for drug abuse. They told us we had to draw how we felt in a circle, and that represents the moment that you're in. And so I drew the sun setting just like this. So this is the image that I drew. And the reason I drew it like this was because as a person and like the sunset, it's very beautiful at top. But you never see the distortion of the water and how the image shifts, because as a person we can always pretend that everything is beautiful and pristine and life goes on. But below the surface, everything is bruised and battered. And so unless you really know what's going on beneath, everything looks fine. And then to thine own self be true, because if I can't be true to myself, I can't love me and know who I am, then I can't love my wife or my son, because it's not fair to them if I can give myself 100% and I give them that. And then the chalice represents love, happiness, compassion, family, and loyalty. And so as I'm full of life, it overfills my cup. And then so that's the biggest. This is the most meaningful one that I have. Now everything else is just things I really enjoy. Like these are astronauts because of Apollo Atlas.
Right.
And then I've got this is all the Aztec and Mayan work that I really enjoy. the heritage and.
Now she's Puerto Rican background. Do you have?
Yeah, so I'm a really mixed bag of goods. Because we did the ancestry DNA.
I mean, if you were a dog, we'd call you a mutt, right?
That's exactly what it is. So my dad, it's really, so we did a few years ago. We got a gift for each other. We did the ancestry DNA to see where we're at. And Sheila's got one page. She's got the 5 or 6 items there.
Because I'm Puerto Rican, honey.
Yeah. So she's so they're Taino, which is the native to the island. She's African American, Spanish, and yeah, so there's just a few
Like
things. Now,
30% Jewish, and that's it.
it's really neat. So it's really cool how it breaks it down. So myself, my dad is Scottish, Irish, Wales, and English, and then my mom is Mexican American, or Mexican, and a few other things. So I've got several pages, and it's really neat though because it shows exactly where they're from. And one of the things my family, they're basically where the Mayans or the Aztecs. I forgot which the two's different, but. That's where they originated from, and then they came through, and then they were farmers in Texas, and they came to South Florida, and they got farmland down there, and so it's really neat. So I really enjoyed the culture behind it, and like the pyramids and stuff. So actually on this arm I've had Egyptian, and so because it's the whole like how were they built? They're the culture and the diversity of the people and the technology of which they didn't have, but they were still able to do all these grand things in life. And all with just their hands and tools. And for me, I've always been a hard worker, whether it was driving the trucks for the farm or tilling the land and stuff like that. So I've always been with my hands, and I think it's really neat. So as a person, it's I've never stopped working. And so like these people, they use basic tools and stuff, and I think that's great, like farmers and stuff. So there's a lot of like little different meanings and stuff to my tattoos. It's not just like now this one's kind of silly. So this is a little. So Sheila's had this is what this is supposed to be like. But my wife's artistic abilities isn't the best, but she does have fun with it.
Thank you.
So when she drew it, it looked like a funny little character just running around. So I said, well, if you get that one, I'll get this one because it's just a goofy little sun character.
It looks like a little Pillsbury Dough son.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like whenever you open the roll and it doesn't actually develop. It's just a dough.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But so, what percentage are you? What exactly are you?
That's a good question.
Yeah. You're Irish and Scottish.
22% Scottish, 13% Irish, 19% Mexican indigenous, which would be like, and then
which is crazy.
a handful of everything else.
Scottish and Irish are right there at number 1 and 2.
You could have been our first interview wearing a kilt, but you failed.
I was
He
about to know
doesn't
that. I'll get it out the trunk. I'll be right back.
You ever wear one of those?
No.
That would be so cool. You should be like, hey, it's my heritage. I'm just embracing it.
Yeah, but I think it's really cool though, the ancestral DNA, because it really shows where the people came from and stuff, and how they migrated over and stuff. As a matter of fact, when Sheila did hers, we found that her family went from Puerto Rico to Ellis Island. They're actually in the book. They wrote their names, and they actually changed their names because of the oppression of their people and everything. So
Yes.
their family had no idea that they even changed the name because there's so many generations back. But genetics, we're connected. She's connected to them.
Because of the census.
Yeah.
Whenever they first got here, they signed the census, and everybody had to do it. And my great-great-great-grandfather, whenever they first came to Ellis Island, their name was something completely different. But whenever they arrived, they were given and they changed their names. And they've used that last name ever since. So whenever I asked my father about it, he didn't even know.
Then we found out that he had an uncle that passed away. He was drafted into the military at 18 and then died at 19 as he was in.
And he didn't know that either. And I'm just thankfully Ancestry DNA is awesome because I've seen all of my trees just connect, and it's so cool because whenever he gets to that age, then we can see where his family and our families come together. It's pretty cool.
I mean, around here, a lot of the family trees are like a stem. They just go straight up.
That is exactly it.
So yours is all over. That's good.
All over the
And
place.
it's
All over.
like Apollo told her, like to be able to travel to all these different places. Say like this is a part of who you are.
Right. Well, he's already been to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, my little grandson, he just turned 5 months, and he's already been in like 15 states because my son-in-law is a magician, and they travel and do magic shows at public schools and stuff, and so it's pretty neat. But yeah, I like to ask a question about tattoos, just because it's kind of weird. But growing up, every time you'd picture someone with tattoos, it was usually some biker dude that wanted to like kill everybody,
Right, aggressive.
Mom or something, but as I grew older, I started to realize that tattoos a lot of times are people's family or it's their story. I met a guy recently out, and I've known this guy for a long time. Never asked him because I was scared to ask him, but he had I thought they were devil horns, like right here, and I was just like, I never wanted to ask him.
Right.
Finally, I said, hey, I've known you for a long time now, so I hope I'm not inappropriate. I said, but what are the horns in your head? And he goes, oh. And he told me about how he was homeless. He was adopted by an Indian tribe, and it was like actually like an initiation thing to their tribe. So he had nothing to do with like he wasn't a Satanist or nothing.
Right.
It was legitimately like horns of an animal or something that they would. So anyway, I just love to hear those stories.
But you never know if you don't ask. A lot of people just
Well, that's
assume.
a misconception of
Right.
tattoos.
I'm sure there are some things like that, but
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
But if you're looking at you would wonder like you got Egyptian, Mayan,
Oh, I have a Pokemon one on my leg. So this is Squirtle wearing the Blastoise, and Sheila's got the
I
Charmander.
do. I have
Charizard, so we
Charmander on my
matching-
calf as well.
Yeah, what's
Gotcha.
cool about it is with the black light, they actually glow because the tail looks like a little flame. So we got
Yeah.
the ink there under a
Mine-
black light.
mine glows his. It's
It's
pretty
pretty
cool.
neat. So and it's fun. So
That's our fun tattoo.
Yeah, it's our fun tattoo.
Well, I have a struggle with yellow fly bites and mosquitoes. Like I'm just itching, so I just can't imagine getting a tattoo or a needle in me.
That is a different
I can't
different
give
kind
blood.
of
That's
sting.
the funniest thing. So because I give blood as often as I can, but I still pass out every time because I don't like needles.
He really
Yeah.
does.
I will refuse. Like that's why when they told me my diabetes was out of control, they were going to put me on insulin shots. I was like, no, I'd rather not.
Right.
And so they
doesn't
put
do
me on
needles.
metformin and a few other cold cocktail other things. I just don't like needles.
Right.
Yep.
But tattoos are a little different because as much as it does sting and it does burn. Like this was super spicy right here on the knuckles. It just in the moment that you're really there. So for me, it's like okay, I really like that it's more of art.
Gotcha.
And this is your canvas, and people see it. So it's not just like I'm gonna go get a $13 tattoo from a guy and be like, oh, here it is, But I've really thought about them, and there's a reason why I have them.
Right.
And so before my tattoo stopped right a few inches above the wrist because when I worked and I worked for corporate, I was always shirt tie and jacket. So whenever I would shake hands, you would never see the tattoo because they didn't want it to be shown. And then once I became my own business owner, I'm like, you know what, I can do whatever I want. Obviously, I'm not gonna get neck tattoos or face tattoos because it's a different image.
Yeah.
But I can still have fun with it,
Right.
And there's still plenty of space for more work and stuff. And so it's really silly. So this blue here and there's blue here is because this blue was from one of the drink mixes I was doing this morning. It splashed on me and it got on me. I told my wife, I said, babe, look at that. The ink is it's spilling over. She's like, oh my gosh, what happened? What's going on? It's the same color. I said, I don't know. Let me see if I can get it down.
I worry. I get anxiety.
She's a little
I worry a lot, and he does it. I'm just like, oh my god, what's wrong? I'm freaking out. He's like, no, I'm just messing with you. And I'm like, well, here's my heart attack for the day.
So what does your house look like? You guys have a lot of art at your house?
So we
Actually, no, it's more like just the baby now. He's our
Well,
art
I
piece.
mean, we do have different themes, like the different rooms and stuff. But like in one of the we have it's an open floor plan, so we have the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, and then
The second
and so like we call it the nest. It's our house because it's mom and bird.
Excuse me.
So we have like birds and stuff, like pretty like painting stuff for the living room, and then she's also my queen bee. So I have like honeybees and like other like things on one theme. And then I built her a library for all her books because we collect manga. We're big into anime. We do a lot of conventions and stuff. We cosplay. But in the library, at the Dollar Tree, they had these little lanterns. And so I took fishing lines and I hung them up so it looks like a Harry Potter thing.
Okay.
So it's really neat. So the different things around the house. And then we've picked up art from different shows and stuff. And then I'm a big Pokemon fan. We both are. So we're in our hobby room. We have all of our collections from throughout the years and stuff, and then we have our office, and that's where you'll find we split the room in two. So I have my colors and all the stuff that I've collected, and then she's got all her figurines on her side and everything. So it's and now with the baby, we have a lot of like NASA and space themed stuff everywhere. He's pretty much taking over the house. So
That's cool. That's pretty interesting. I used to collect a lot of stuff too. I'm becoming more and more a minimalist, I guess you could say. Except for my books. So I guess we can probably top off this conversation with this at the end, but you said book for your library. What's in your library?
Oh my gosh, my library. My library goes from everything from thriller to sci-fi to fiction, nonfiction. Yeah, it's a little bit of everything, honestly. I just like a good book. I like a good book. I like to where as soon as Yes, if I'm not captivated within the first chapter, I just
So what's your favorite book? We'll start with that.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
And the last book you read was?
The last book I read was the Detective Comics by Batman.
Okay.
I collect everything, graphic novels and comic books included as
I
well.
started reading The Alchemist. Have you ever read The Alchemist? Do you like that book?
Are you talking about the manga Alchemist?
So this is where, I'm 47, so we have to back up a little bit here. So you said something about anime and manga. Is manga the M-A-N-G-A? Is that how
Yes,
it is?
yes.
Okay, what's the difference?
So anime is the show that you watch. It's like cartoons.
From the
Okay.
manga. So they start with
The manga's the
manga's
book.
And then
That
they
was based
animate it into a show.
Okay, so no, The Alchemist would not be a manga book. It's a few years ago it had its 25th anniversary. So I'm only a few pages in. I had a sleep study last night, so I'm like, I'm gonna bring a book I don't know anything about. And so
I got you,
had
just
this
to fall
book and
asleep.
start reading it. And it was okay, but it was starting to get like, so I don't really know like even
I
the
got
age
you.
appropriateness of it. I was just wondering if you had read it.
I got you.
And what about, do you read it all?
I do, but typically,
Do you read?
I do read. And I'll scroll through it though on my tablet.
He gets bored really fast
I
with
do.
things.
It's because of that. My ADHD runs really rampant. So if I'm not, I have to be able to hyper focus on one thing. So what happens with like books or anything like that? I'll read the first few chapters, or if I can make it through the first few chapters, and then I'll come back to it. So in our household, my wife has this thing where now I'll start 38 projects at one time, and I'll go through and complete them all as my ADHD allows me. But to her, it's complete chaos. Complete and utter chaos. So she'll go through and then do the things that I had started already and finish it, and then I'll come back there. I'm like, what's going on? Where's mine? Then I'm lost because in my mind, everything is like it's in a list. I've got tabs and it's all in a portfolio. But really, it's just like Scrabble letters. You just kind of like. But so when I read, I'm doing stuff. I know I start getting bored because I'll start yawning, and then I'm like, okay, I have to go on to the next thing. So I'll come back and change it. So I have all these things that I start, and I'll go through and finish them later on. So it's just how it.
I usually have 5. Like right now, I have a book over here. It's called Signs of the Book of Signs by David Jeremiah, and so it's talking about like in the Bible about the end times and what different areas. And so I'm reading through that book. I've got The Alchemist, got another one on my desk about a missionary. It's a book about missions and anxiety and burnout and things like that about different missionaries and pastors. So reading that book, I've got books everywhere. And,
Nope, that's already too much for me. Nope, I have to
That's
start
just-
one and finish, and then I
And we'll go through and complete one book. And I'm like, you did that how long? Because I'm still working on the 6 that I have. But I go
I'm still working on 2 chapters. What do you mean?
Well, I love John Grisham, probably my favorite author.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
But I was,
Yes.
his last 2 books I was able to read pretty quickly, Camino Island and Camino Winds. I read those pretty quickly. But before that, I can't remember what book it was. But man, it took me probably 3 years to get through that book. 'Cause I read a couple chapters and forget
Yes.
about it, a couple chapters. I think I have a friend who's a psychologist, not an Instagram psychologist, a real one. But she told me I have ADHD, so
I could have told you that. I'm like, yes, you guys sound exactly the
I mean, and
Oh, really? Okay.
So there was one book set that I really enjoyed, and there was 15 books in it. It's called The House of Night Novels, and I started one, and it's probably the only set. It's about these young kids who they become vampires or werewolves and all these things. So it's a house at night, so they're all within the night. And it goes through all these stories for all these kids in all these different years. So you actually go through like 9th grade and all the school up until they graduate and everything else. But there's 15 of them. And I remember it took me 3 months, but I read through all of them. That's probably the only time I've ever like hyper focused and like I put one book down, I grabbed the other book. And I was so captivated
right
by it.
throughout the
And then I
series.
got the
That's
next one. And I got
So
the next
each
one.
book is a different year? Like in a school life?
It was a
or-
continuation of throughout all. So
Okay.
where one would stop and then they would continue on through the summer and then there was the next set. And then it's really cool because it shows, it's kind of like Game of Thrones if you ever read it. Each chapter was a different perspective from someone, and then in the books it was very similar to that. And I just couldn't stop reading it. It was really good up to the point where I actually haven't even finished it because there was 2 more books that came out, but I got so busy with life that I never went back and completed it.
So y'all started church recently. You said, well, let me ask you a question. So have you read any authors have you read any of the Chronicles of Narnia?
a long time ago.
Okay. Have you heard of Ted Decker?
Yes, I'd
Okay.
say maybe.
So maybe check out him too, maybe. And then also the one that I think
Yes.
at one time was Frank Peretti. Frank Peretti writes a book called Pierce into Darkness in This Present Darkness, and it's fiction, but it talks about spiritual warfare that goes on,
I would be interested in
like
that.
angels and demons fighting and spiritual
I'd be
warfare,
really
and
interested
it's
in that.
I don't know if we call it reading. Now, a friend of mine says he reads all these books every year, but a lot of them are done through Audible or something.
Okay.
That's not reading a book. That's
Thank
listening to a
you.
book. Personally, that's me.
Thank
But
you.
I'm not
Thank
gonna.
you.
But hey, honor him for like
So the
what he
only-
I'm not
does.
gonna knock anybody.
So the
but
Right, but
I like to smell the pages.
So the only Audible that I've ever had was my dad's friend giving him Lord of the Rings on cassette.
okay.
And so this was obviously a very long time ago. But I remember listening to it like it was really because you would hear like when they were in a cave, you'd hear like the fire crackling and the guy going through the story. I had no idea what was going on. And I've never even heard Lord of the Rings. But the fact that the guy was reading the book, and I found comfort in it. It was very something that was just, it was very almost therapeutic because the guy's voice was very, it flowed very well in the book. And then when eventually I ended up reading the books themselves and The Hobbit and stuff like that, after the movies came out. And it was really neat, but that's probably the only Audible book that I've ever read.
So my only Audible book I heard was This Present Darkness, or Pierce. This Present Dark, I think it was, but yeah, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of creeped me out a little bit. But my dad read all those books at one time, and we were going through a stage in our life at the time where he was pastoring somewhere, and he was reading that book, and he's like, he could see, there was a lot of drama at the time where we were, and he could see how, reading that book, he could kind of see how things were unfolding almost, and say, you know what, this is what's going on. Because, you know, as a Christian, I believe there is spiritual warfare. There's that battle of good and evil that goes on around us.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway. Well, I think that was an easy conversation.
Yeah.
There's a camera on. Did you know that? Did you forget all about it?
Yeah.
You kind of forget, don't you?
Yeah, you kind of just.
It really is. Just a
Yeah.
conversation.
And this is
that's
and,
what I
and,
like.
and that's and they actually really did forget that it was important because like this is what we do every day. We just talk to people, and that's why I really do enjoy. And I found passion in something because, like I said, I've gone to college for massage. I went to school for massage therapy, business general business management. I even did real estate. I stopped that a few years ago, but I did real estate. I've done all these things with corporate, and I've just been following the money. And then, but now I actually found passion. I never really felt like I had a calling. I just did what people told me I should do or I was good at. And so I just went along with the flow, and a lot of ups and downs in my life. But when we started this, I really like being a part of the whole community because it sounds silly, but going from the town drunk to a person of the community is a whole different thing. I mean, people see me, they recognize me, and they talk to us everywhere we go. And sometimes it's a good thing, and sometimes I'm like, I just want to run into Walmart and get out, and it's a 2-hour trip.
Right.
But people will talk to us. People, they come and they find comfort in what we do and who we are. And I like that. I like that people can say, you can go to Galactic and just, if you just have a bad day, if you just want someone just to hang out with you, we're right there. And that's the atmosphere that we set because, you know where you go, if people are like, hey, they're just real short, they don't care about you, you're a number to them.
Right.
And it's not about that. It's about, people, because we're all in the same boat. We all eat, I always tell everybody we all eat from the same plate. Nobody goes without. And I never turn away anybody. And a lot of people do stop by, if they don't have it, I always give it to them because, like I said, I don't turn anybody away. People don't go without. And we do, we do give back a lot to the community. Last month they had a fundraiser for a young boy with autism. They're trying to raise money for a service dog. So they actually, the service department asked me to set up. And so we were able to help raise money for that. The cheerleaders had a cheer camp. I was able to raise $550 for them in 3 days, selling our drinks and giving back. We do sponsor the different athletic departments, and all these things wouldn't be possible had the community not come through us. Because without you guys, we wouldn't have any of this.
Right.
And it's never about the money for us. We're not out here to be millionaires. It's Interlochen, But we have a comfortable life, and we really do just enjoy all this together. And like I said, to me, it's not a job. It's the career of it. But to me, this is just life.
Right.
Yeah.
The little boy with autism, that's Eli or Elijah.
Yeah.
And his mom was on the podcast a few weeks ago.
Miss
They're friends of
Amanda.
mine. Yeah, Amanda.
Miss
Yeah,
Amanda.
they're friends. And I remember now who told me to interview. It was Randy Hayes.
Yeah.
Officer Randy Hayes.
Yeah, we call him. So we call him Captain Daddy Hayes.
Because he's so stern when he was like, stop, yes sir.
He said something, and he told someone whatever he was doing, and I was like, "Wait, should I sit down?" So, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's one of I would say he's one of my closest friends, I guess you could say. I guess we could use the word friend in that case. That's up to him to use that word, but I would say he's one of my closest friends in our community. And on Wednesday mornings we have free coffee and donuts here. We don't do it during the summer; it's too hot. But he usually comes on Wednesday morning. We'll sit down and we'll have time of prayer together. Or we'll talk and just chat. And I was kind of unfolding to him what I wanted to do with this because like you said, I enjoy doing this. This is like, I love doing this. Like meeting people and getting to know their story. That's what I want to do. I enjoy that. And so he kind of mentioned, hey, you should talk to, that's who gave you your name. I just thought about that. And he had told me you had some addiction issues in the past and had mentioned you. So yeah, very cool.
That whole
So,
family knows, and they're wonderful. We love everyone.
yeah. Yeah, very good.
And we have met a lot of interesting people through Galactic, and it's really because you just don't know who's here and who's out there, and everybody. To me, it's I give everybody some respect. You know, I don't ever treat anybody any different. And it's he's
Sorry.
yeah, it's his nap time.
No problem.
He you know, like I said, the sheriff's department had asked us to set up there, and because we did that, and we do get a lot of sheriff's deputies that come through our store. They've actually offered us a spot to set up on paydays to sell drinks, and I think it's a great opportunity to you know, to be in another area and do things, because we do a lot of different events as well. Like actually, matter of fact, tomorrow night in Hastings they have it's a night market that they're doing now. So it's from 4 to 8 or 4 to 9, something like that. And it's the first time they're doing it. And so we had signed up to do that. So that way people can still enjoy the drinks and stuff like that and have a healthy alternative anywhere else.
Right.
And so I think it's great, you know, and I really do appreciate, you know, Randy Hayes, you know, for telling me, you know, to come by.
Yeah.
And I do like sharing our story, because there's a lot that we've been through all together. And that's why there's no judgment from us, because I mean, I've been through the ringer. Sheila's been through a lot herself, and yeah, I think it's great.
Very good. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
It was a joy talking with you. Sheila, it was nice talking with you today.
Nice talking
Thanks
to
for
you
coming on.
as well.
And Apollo,
Apollo.
Apollo, it's been good to hear from you as well.